flush. My face is really hot. I just can't.
See, it's not about me being let down. Remember that. Remember, I'm going to love you no matter whether you use or not, right? You know that. It's not about me. It's about you inside knowing you could have done better, right? And the first place to arrive, like I said earlier, is for you to even be aware you're capable of being guilty. And you know what? That's the first race you need to win. And I'm so proud of you for winning that. The second race you need to win is to be legal. No matter what excuse you give, you break the law. You belong in a zoo, human zoo, right? That's the closest you can get to being a zoo. Otherwise, you can roam free in the forest. Nobody's stopping you, right? If you're living by society rules, no, you never say that. Never say better off. What do you mean by that? Your mom loves you, and you just now said she's going to support you and stuff. Okay, so don't use words that's going to chip you down. I don't want that either. Okay, I don't want that for you, or I don't want that for me. I don't want to run away from my problem. You and me, we are going to watch Unbroken this week. How about that? Again, even though you watched it, I'm going to give myself the same assignment. He picks up poop and he gets beaten a million times.
Well, I remember the part that stood out to me was when the Japanese commander made every American in the camp punch him in the face.
Yes.
And they were saying, no, I'm not going to do that. He said, do it, because it's like, this guy is so selfless.
Yeah.
Instead of them refusing and getting beaten, he would rather do it himself, and he would take it. And
that's like a pure purple heart, right? So what I'm saying is you have the capacity to be that purple heart, okay? So I'm so proud of you, okay? And you can be guaranteed I'm going to be proud of you whether you do the right thing or not, right? But the reason you need to do this is for you, not for me, right? Because I don't want you to look like away from me, not in my eye, and put your head down, okay? And this is what I bring up with my kids. My kids' picture up on the wall. You've seen them, right? So my youngest one was asking. I was telling him. I said, shame is a childhood emotion. Adults don't carry. Do you know that? And that's because shame doesn't exist for adults. I mean, we can use that word, but the adults, it's about relay race. You need to So he was asking, Mom, what does it mean? And I said, hey, you're running a race, right? I said, let's say you're running a relay and you fell down. Do you feel ashamed? He says, of course not, Mom. He will always say, I need to catch up. That's what adult is about. You're going to catch up, okay? You're going to catch up so that you are going to be part of your team. We are all part of your team. And as a recovery coach, I cannot run ahead of you. Okay, if you're not keeping up with me, I cannot carry that race forward. Remember that. We are doing a relay. And we need to get you where you need to go. And I cannot run ahead of you. I cannot run behind you. I'm going to run in pace with you. So if we need, huh?
But I also need to do my part.
Yes, you need to do your part, and part of that is you need to take consequence if I give you. And if in case you're doing the right thing, I'm going to cheer you. And if in case your mom is going to hold on to your money, that's fine. You need to earn it back from her. And there is a 90-day rule we do. Remember 90 meetings, 90 days. Have you heard about that? I'm going to give you another 90 rule. Okay. The first time you feel like use 90 seconds. You're not going to think about it for 90 seconds. Second rule will be 90 minutes. You're going to not use it for 90 minutes. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to take a break. Let me go eat a sandwich, come back. Let me see whether I feel that way. Third 90-minute rule is I'm going to not do it for 90 hours. Okay? So seconds, minute, hours, and let's go from there. 90 hours will get you before you see me. And the second thing you said is if you keep your Friday appointment, it'll be easier because you don't get money until then. So let's make sure you don't have cash on your hand. And if worse comes to worse, if you keep using, you need to drop your job or take a leave of action or whatever you need to do to not handle money, okay? Or maybe they can pay directly your mother or do something that is, because you don't need a job. What you need is your head to be straight. Okay. And I feel you'll get there. Okay. And I feel personally, right now you achieve 2 weeks, right? My next goal for you is to achieve 3 weeks. So yeah, 21 days is how long it takes to make new blood vessel, or rather, not actually new RBC, the thing that carries oxygen, red blood cells. So 3 weeks, spleen also puts out new energy. Okay, spleen brings the energy from the earth.
And that's the other thing. I realized I mean, I really hate it. More, it makes me feel worse for more time than it makes me feel good. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm hurting more than I'm feeling good whenever I use it, because it's just like, as soon as I use it in my head, I'm like, why would you do that? You suck, you know. And I get down on myself, and it's
Guilt is your conscious saying that you're not doing the right thing. That's why always you need to say, I'm grateful to be guilty. You know why? If you lose guilt when you're doing the wrong thing, you're a sociopath. Thank God you're not a sociopath. Then you really do belong in the forest. You're not part of the human, right? So I feel personally being guilty is, there is hope. You're very young. You haven't found yourself. I want you to watch a TED talk by Gabermate. He calls it the power of addiction. You want me to show you? Okay. Let me this. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm not going to bring you up from that way. Like, you know, you don't need to watch what you don't need to. And I just was showing it to somebody else. I really like it. He calls it the realm of hungry ghost. Okay. Get ready, 'cause here I come. I need to pause this. And I'm going to turn, but don't, like, you can watch it from there, right? I'm not going to show you face. I'm going to go to 7:36.
We have no motivation. Now, what do you think the addict gets? When the addict shoots cocaine, we have something else here too. The human brain itself, as you heard already, develops an interaction with the environment. It's not just genetically programmed. So the kind of environment that a child has will actually shape the development of the brain. Now, I can tell you about 2 experiments with mice. You take a little mouse and you put food in his mouth, and he'll eat it and enjoy it and swallow it. But if you put the food down a few inches away from his nose, he will not move to eat it. He will actually starve to death rather than eat. Why? Because genetically, they knocked out the receptors for a chemical in the brain called dopamine. Dopamine is the incentive motivation chemical. Dopamine flows whenever we're motivated, excited, vibrant.
So remember, you said the script was in the pharmacy and you didn't pick it up because you didn't have dopamine. So the dopamine gives you the like how the excitement, or like for me, like, you know, the idea of making tea is more fun than drinking the tea itself, like, you know, like waking up, the aroma and stuff. So that's the same thing. You need to rewire your brain to feel motivated, because you're saying, what's the point in getting the medication? So we need to go to that space where you move past it.
When we're seeking food or a sexual partner, without the dopamine, we have no motivation. Now, what do you think the addict gets? When the addict shoots cocaine, the addict shoots crystal meth, or almost any drug, they get a hit of dopamine in their brain. And the question is, what happened to their brains in the first place? Because it's a myth that drugs are addictive. Drugs are not by themselves addictive, because most people who try most drugs never become addicted. So the question is, why are some people vulnerable to be addicted? Just like food is not addictive, but to some people it is. Shopping is not addictive, but to some people it is. Television is not addictive, but to some people it is. So the question is, why the susceptibility? There's another little experiment with mice where infant mice, if they're separated from their mothers, will not cry for their mothers. Now, what would that mean in the wild? It means that they would die. because only the mother protects the child's life and nurtures the child. And why? Because genetically, they knocked out the receptors, the chemical binding sites in the brain for endorphins. And endorphins are our indigenous morphine-like substances. Endorphins are our own natural painkillers. And what morphine or what endorphins also do, they make possible the experience of love. They make possible the experience of attachment to the parent and the parent's attachment to the child. So these little mice without endorphin receptors in their brains will actually not call for their mothers. In other words, the addiction to these drugs and of course the heroin and the morphine, what they do is they act on the endorphin system. That's why they work. And so the question is, what happens to people that they need these chemicals from the outside? Well, what happens to them is when they're abused as children, those circuits don't develop. When you don't have love and connection in your life, when you're very, very young, then those important brain circuits just don't develop properly.
So I'm going to pause this. The reason I brought it up is so you will understand there is a connection between how you cope with stress versus how you're using. Okay, so first of all, you need to have a better coping skill because what you're doing is using something to handle a problem. Okay, so we need to disengage. We need to go back and figure out what exactly is the problem. We haven't even addressed it. To address it first, we need to move past again and again sabotaging your recovery. So the first step I want you to do is 3 weeks clean. You and me, we are going to make a pact. You only give me 3 weeks. Okay? And if you fail, we're going to have consequence. So for this week, I did my speech. Next week, it's going to be action. So you need to, before you come in, tell me what is the consequence you're willing to take. I'm going to let you decide what would be one thing you're willing to give up. Which kind of you did it already with your mother. You're going to give up the money. You're not going to handle it, right? Like, so essentially you are already ahead of me. So I don't need to do it. You're already doing it for you. So next time, if in case you're bringing up a topic that shows that you're frustrated, you have to ask your money, or your mom is controlling you, or you're bringing up a topic, would I be okay if I remind you, hey, remember you said to me, this is the reason you're doing it, so that I will wake you up there? Would you allow me to do that? So next 3 weeks, if anything that looks like there is a little bit of place that you're coming from that looks like you are resenting it, I'm going to wake you up. You have mine. I have your permission. So you're already kind of like ahead of me, which is what. And watch this and watch the Unbroken again and just like see whether you got, because sometimes same movie, like, you can look at it from another angle. And also go back to the place, what exactly drug means to you. Like, something it's putting in you. And why is it you're doing it? Is it because you are exhausted from work? Like, what exactly is it you're trying to use that for? What does it mean to you? Do you have an answer yet or not yet? You're going to process it?
I'd like to process it so I can actually figure out the truth of myself. And I guess my quick answer would be I'm unhappy with myself. And I use as a way to mask that unhappiness. Yes.
Is your father in your life or not? When did he leave you?
Committed suicide when I was 7.
And was he addicted to?
Yes. He was addicted to coke.
And your mom raised you alone as a single parent. And at what point you felt overwhelmed that you didn't have support? Did you have a good relationship with your father before that?
I was really young. I remember not understanding why we couldn't see him all the time, and not knowing why he was bad.
How young you were when you left your family?
3 or 4, 2 or 3 or 4.
So you really didn't have a good relationship with him. So you didn't understand the whole purpose of it. So that would kind of make sense, right? Like you are using a method that kind of like creates another relationship with them in your own subconscious sick way. I can see that. So we need to create another relationship with your father figure inside you so that you become the strong man you need to be for your kids. Okay. So we'll work on that, but let's break it down little by little and like we'll piece it together. But first you need to wake up. You know, you're still in a slumber and you're still slipping back, and if you keep doing it enough, you're going to hurt. Already you're hiccuping, which shows me that your liver is really irritated, right? So let's regroup. Okay, so this week assignment, keep it simple, right? Take care of yourself, get enough sleep, go to work.
I think I'm gonna go to meetings this week. The
Mhm.
meetings that I really liked when I got clean the first time. Meetings that meant something to me. The Saturday morning, Tuesday night, and Thursday night were the ones I really enjoyed.
So we do step meeting. Today is fifth step, May, right? Do you know about steps, by the way? Okay. So step 5 is, you want to read it for me? So you and me will step 5.
Giving to God, to ourselves, and to another human being is that nature of our law.
So you already did it with me. So we'll work on that this whole month. That's all I'm going to work on. Admitted to God, to ourselves, to another human being. Exact nature of our wrongs. So you're processing it well. And we do have a workshop, micro shelter workshop, May 20th and 21st. If you're interested in joining, many people are going. Did you sign up already? Okay, so I would suggest you sign up. Do you need a ride or you can give a ride?
No, I
You can. Can you give a ride to somebody or not? You don't want to get involved that way. That's fine. So would you want to do May 20 or 21st?
What is it? What day is it?
Saturday, Sunday.
I'll do Sunday. I would do,
Sunday. Okay.
I would do the 21st.
So you don't need to give a ride, but I want you to put down your
I'm
name.
just afraid to get.
Just your name. You don't need to put down your number. And if you change your mind, that's fine. But at least I keep track of who are coming. Okay. So we are going to create a micro shelter workshop. Have I shared the micro shelter workshop yet for you? Because we already have 2 donors who are willing to do that, and I'm going to show you what it would look like. Our project. They in California they did it for $156. We are doing it for $250, and that's my prototype.
7 foot long, 8 foot long, depending on what we do. It's got lift up lids.
And when I built it, I felt so healed. Okay.
Basic miniature home for people to take out who don't have
And
a
you
home.
are very welcome.
And basically, it's a very simple model. It's about $156 to create a homeless shelter for our community. It's about 7 foot long, 8 foot long, depending on what we do. It's got lift up lids for ventilation. It's actually got windows in it that slide and move. We've got doors that open.
We are doing one
On the
home per
inside of the
day.
units, we have shelving set up.
20%.
So, whoever's in their home, they can actually create a little home space by having shelving, by putting their laptops or their books or stuff like that. The newer model is going to have the tap light in it where they actually have light in it.
And then for light, we are going to work with another company called Luminade, and I'm going to show you that one. It's only $20. So our whole project would be, so this is the lighting system. We will be donating to that. But this is only skill building, remember that.
And they all being shipped in volume. And we saw that a lightweight, portable light that was rechargeable would really add a lot of safety and comfort to those victims.
So each unit will be $20 for
Typically
this
after
Luminade.
disasters, the lights go.
It's solar.
And the alternatives are something like flashlights, which require batteries. And oftentimes people in certain parts of the world have to use kerosene lanterns or candles, which are dangerous and are fire hazards. Portable solar lighting, like our Luminade lights, provide.
And it's $20 per unit. And the big one, the carry one, is $30. So each unit would be like, so what I'm looking for is a skill building team who can bring it to their town. So once you get engaged with town projects and Like, keep doing things that is right, automatically you'll feel happy about yourself and that you will carry. Okay, so I want you to be part of our team. Would you? So this week, first thing is to take care of you. So 3 weeks clean time and 90-minute rule, 90-second rule, and then watching Unbroken again, even though you watched it once, do it. I will also do it. And then what is the other segment? And Gaber made the TED talk about power of addiction. Okay, so and we will regroup next week. Does it make sense? I'm gonna stop the video. And what do you want me to call it? This will be on YouTube. My channel is healnow.tv. Your face wouldn't show, but you can go back and look. If there is one power word you want me to call it, what would you call this moment for you? What is one word that would make a big deal?
Happiness. That's what it's all about.
Is that
The
for you?
lack of
Okay, so for you it's happiness. Okay, I'm gonna call this happiness, and it'll be recovery coaching, and you'll be able to pull up and see. Okay,